listeners, and welcome back to Everyday Health Stories, the podcast where we explore the fascinating world of medical science through the power of storytelling. Each week, we bring you compelling science and simple strategies that can help you take control of your health one step at a time. If this is your first time joining us, hit pause for a moment and click on follow or subscribe, depending on where you're listening. That way, you'll get notified of new episodes, gain access to exclusive content, and join a community that's making positive changes, one story at a time. Dr. Reddy, for so many women, the menstrual cycle is often viewed as, at best, a monthly inconvenience, and at worst, a source of pain and discomfort. But what if we could reframe that? Today, we're diving into a topic that's gaining incredible traction: cycle syncing. The idea is that by understanding and aligning our lifestyle with the different phases of our hormonal cycle, women can actually optimize their energy, mood, and even physical performance. Is this a new wellness trend, or is there solid science behind it?
It's a bit of both. The concept of living in harmony with one's cycle has ancient roots in many cultures, but modern science is now beginning to validate how profoundly hormonal fluctuations impact a woman's physiology throughout the month. Cycle syncing isn't just about managing PMS, it's about recognizing that a woman's body operates on a roughly 28-day cycle, not just a 24-hour one, and that tailoring nutrition, exercise, and even work tasks to these phases can unlock significant benefits.
That's a powerful shift in perspective, from viewing the cycle as a hindrance to seeing it as a roadmap for well-being. Can you share an example of how understanding this could make a real difference in a woman's life?
Certainly. Consider a patient. Let's call her Emily, a marketing executive in her mid-30s. She was a high achiever, very driven, but she described her energy and productivity as being on a roller coaster. Some weeks she felt unstoppable, creative, and full of energy, easily tackling challenging projects and intense workouts. Other weeks, she'd feel sluggish, unmotivated, more prone to brain fog, and her usual gym routine felt like climbing a mountain.
I think many women can relate to that feeling of their energy levels being unpredictable or not matching their intentions.
Exactly. Emily was trying to push through with the same intensity every single day, and it was leading to frustration and burnout. When we started discussing her menstrual cycle, she admitted she hadn't paid much attention to it beyond tracking her period for practical reasons. She, like many, saw it as something to be managed rather than understood.
So how did introducing the concept of cycle syncing help her?
We started by mapping out her cycle and discussing the typical hormonal shifts and their associated effects during each of the 4 phases: menstrual, follicular, ovulatory, and luteal. Then, we explored how she could adapt her approach. For instance, during her follicular and ovulatory phases, when estrogen and energy are typically higher, she learned to schedule more demanding creative work, important presentations, and more intense workouts. Conversely, during her luteal phase, as progesterone rises and energy might dip, she started to incorporate more restorative activities, focused on detail-oriented tasks rather than brainstorming, and adjusted her exercise to be less strenuous, like yoga or longer walks.
So it wasn't about doing less, but about doing the right things at the right times for her body.
Precisely. And the results were quite transformative for Emily. She reported feeling more in control of her energy, less prone to burnout, and surprisingly, more productive overall. She felt like she was working with her body instead of constantly fighting against it. Her exercise felt more effective, and she even noticed improvements in her mood and a reduction in PMS symptoms.
Emily's story is a fantastic example of how this knowledge can be empowering. Dr. Reddy, for our listeners who might be new to this, could you walk us through these 4 phases of the menstrual cycle and what's happening hormonally during each one?
Of course, let's start with phase 1, the menstrual phase. This is day 1 of your cycle, the first day of your period, and it typically lasts about 3 to 7 days. During this time, both estrogen and progesterone are at their lowest levels. The uterine lining is shedding. From an energy perspective, this is often a time for rest and reflection. Your body is doing important work.
So this is when it's okay and even beneficial to slow down a bit.
Absolutely. Then comes phase 2, the follicular phase. This phase starts on the first day of your period, overlapping with the menstrual phase, and lasts until ovulation, typically around day 7 to day 14 for many women, though it can vary. During this phase, follicle-stimulating hormone, FSH, prompts your ovaries to prepare an egg. estrogen levels begin to rise steadily. This rise in estrogen often brings an increase in energy, mood, and mental clarity. You might feel more outgoing, creative, and motivated.
This sounds like a good time to tackle new projects or more challenging workouts.
It often is. Next is phase 3, the ovulatory phase. This is a short phase, usually around mid-cycle, days 14 to 16, but again, variable, when an egg is released from the ovary. Estrogen peaks just before ovulation, and there's also a surge in luteinizing hormone LH and a small rise in testosterone. This is often when women report feeling their most energetic, confident, and social. Libido can also be at its highest.
So peak energy and vitality here.
Generally, yes. And finally, we have phase 4, the luteal phase. This phase lasts from ovulation until the start of your next period, roughly days 15 to 28. After ovulation, the follicle that released the egg transforms into the corpus luteum, which produces progesterone. Progesterone levels rise significantly, while estrogen levels also rise and then fall. If pregnancy doesn't occur, both progesterone and estrogen will drop towards the end of this phase, triggering menstruation. The luteal phase is often when women experience PMS symptoms like mood swings, bloating, fatigue, and cravings. Energy levels may gradually decline.
This is the phase many women associate with feeling less than their best. Understanding these hormonal shifts is the first step. Now, how can women practically apply this knowledge to sync their lifestyle? Let's talk about exercise first. How might workouts differ across these phases?
This is where cycle syncing can be particularly beneficial. During the menstrual phase, when energy is lowest, it's a good time for restorative movement like gentle yoga, stretching, or light walking. Listen to your body. If you feel up to more, that's fine, but don't push it. In the follicular phase, as estrogen and energy rise, you can gradually increase the intensity. This is a great time for cardio, dance classes, trying new workouts, or building strength. During the ovulatory phase, with peak estrogen and a testosterone boost, you might find you have the most power and endurance. This is an excellent time for high-intensity interval training or HIIT, heavy strength training, or pushing your personal bests. In the luteal phase, especially the latter half as hormones decline, you might want to scale back. Focus on moderate intensity, steady-state cardio, Pilates, swimming, or strength training with lighter weights and more repetitions. Towards the very end, as PMS might kick in, more gentle activities like yoga or walking are again good choices.
That's a really clear framework. It's about tuning into what your body is primed for rather than forcing a one-size-fits-all approach to fitness throughout the month. What about nutrition, Dr. Reddy? Are there foods that can particularly support each phase?
Yes, nutrition can also be synced. During the menstrual phase, focus on iron-rich foods to replenish what's lost, like lean red meat, lentils, spinach, and pumpkin seeds. Also, include anti-inflammatory foods like fatty fish, turmeric, and ginger, and ensure adequate hydration. In the follicular phase, as estrogen rises, support your body with foods that help metabolize estrogen effectively. Think cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower, flax seeds, and plenty of lean protein for energy and muscle building. During the ovulatory phase, continue with nutrient-dense foods. Focus on lighter, fresh foods, plenty of antioxidants from colorful fruits and vegetables, and good quality fats to support hormone production. In the luteal phase, as progesterone rises, your metabolism might slightly increase, and you might experience cravings. Focus on complex carbohydrates like quinoa to stabilize blood sugar and mood, magnesium-rich foods like dark chocolate. In moderation, of course, and also nuts and seeds can help with PMS symptoms. Also, ensure enough B vitamins for energy and mood regulation.
It's fascinating how targeted nutrition can support these hormonal shifts. This goes far beyond just eating healthy in a general sense. What about work, productivity, and even social life? Can cycle syncing extend to those areas?
Absolutely. While it requires more self-awareness and perhaps flexibility in scheduling, it can be very effective. During the follicular phase, with rising estrogen, you might find your verbal skills, creativity, and ability to brainstorm are enhanced. This could be a good time for planning, starting new projects, and networking. In the ovulatory phase, With peak confidence and communication skills, this is often an ideal time for important presentations, negotiations, collaborations, and social events. During the luteal phase, especially the first half, you might be more detail-oriented and focused on completing tasks. As energy wanes in the latter half, it might be better to focus on wrapping things up, organizing, and perhaps more solitary, focused work. This is also a good time to be gentle with yourself socially if you're feeling more introverted. During the menstrual phase, if possible, allow for more rest and introspection. If you can, schedule lighter workloads or tasks that require less outward energy.
This is truly about designing a life that flows with your natural rhythms. Dr. Reddy, for women who are on hormonal birth control, does cycle syncing apply in the same way?
That's an important distinction. Hormonal birth control typically works by suppressing natural ovulation and altering the natural hormonal fluctuations. So, women on most forms of hormonal contraceptives won't experience the same distinct hormonal phases as those with a natural cycle. While they can still benefit from tracking how they feel and adjusting their lifestyle accordingly, the principles of cycle syncing based on natural estrogen and progesterone peaks and troughs won't apply in the same manner. However, they can still pay attention to the bleed week, if they have one, versus the active pill weeks and notice any patterns.
That's a crucial clarification. So, for cycle syncing to be most effective in the way we've discussed, it's primarily for women with natural cycles. What are some of the biggest challenges or misconceptions when it comes to adopting this approach?
One challenge is that every woman's cycle is unique. The day ranges I provided are averages. Some women have shorter cycles, some longer. So, the first step is accurate tracking, not just of periods, but ideally of other signs like basal body temperature or cervical mucus if you want to pinpoint ovulation more precisely. Apps can be helpful here. Another misconception is that it's about being restrictive. It's not. It's about being informed and making empowered choices. It's about giving yourself permission to rest when you need it and to push when you feel strong, without guilt.
It sounds like it requires a good degree of self-awareness and a willingness to listen to your body's signals.
Yes, it does. And it's a journey. It's not about achieving perfection, but about fostering a deeper connection with your own body and its rhythms. Even small adjustments based on your cycle can lead to significant improvements in well-being.
Dr. Reddy, this has been an incredibly empowering conversation. Reframing the menstrual cycle not as a monthly burden, but as a source of wisdom and a guide for optimizing our lives is a game changer. The practical tips you've shared for syncing exercise, nutrition, and even work with our hormonal phases offer a clear path for women to feel more energized, balanced, and effective.
Right. And it's about moving from passively experiencing the cycle to actively partnering with it. When women understand their bodies on this deeper level, it unlocks a new dimension of health and performance.
And to all our listeners, especially the women tuning in, we hope this episode on cycle syncing has provided you with valuable insights and inspiration. Understanding your body's natural rhythms is a powerful tool for well-being. Don't forget to subscribe to Everyday Health Stories for more episodes that delve into the science of health. If you found this discussion helpful, please share it with other women in your life who might benefit from this knowledge.
As always, this podcast is for informational purposes only. The information discussed is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease and should not be considered a substitute for consultation with a healthcare professional. If you have specific health concerns or questions about your menstrual cycle, please consult with your doctor or a qualified health practitioner.
Absolutely. Until next time, listen to your body, honor its rhythms, and stay wonderfully healthy. Bye for now.